Monday, TVC News flagship political program where we interrogate the issues, personalities, and power plays shaping Nigeria's democracy. I am Femi Akonde. Tonight, the road to 2027 and the opposition's renewed search for unity. The minority caucus of the House of Representatives and the G100 coalition are calling on opposition parties to forge a common front and produce a single presidential candidate to challenge President Bola Tinubu and the ruling APC. Their warning is clear. A divided opposition could repeat the mistakes of 2023 and hand the governing party another victory. But unity is easier proclaimed than achieved. Can Atiku Abubakar, Peter Obi, and other presidential hopefuls place collective interest above personal ambition? Also, who determines the consensus candidate, and will the process be credible? Well, more importantly again is the opposition. Are they building a genuine alternative with a clear vision for Nigeria, or merely uniting around the ambition to defeat President Bola Tinubu? Tonight, we examine whether a single candidate can transform the opposition's electoral fortunes, or whether competing ambitions will once again prove stronger than its desire for power. The conversation begins now with Comrade Salihu Mustafa, a political strategist and the leader of the G100 coalition. Hello, sir. It's good to see you again.
Good to see you too, but my name is Salihu Lukman, not Mustafa.
Salihu Lukman, I beg your pardon. Salihu Mustafa is the man who just resigned from the All Progressives Congress from Kwara State. Salihu Lukman. Now let's get started. This G100, you also met with minority reps in the House, minority reps in the National Assembly, looking for a single candidate, opposition candidate, to face President Bola Tinubu. But you agree with me, this is not the first time we've seen these moves. And why is this one different?
Well, first, thank you very much. If you recall, I think on 2nd of August, we issued an open letter to our opposition leaders where we highlighted all the issues and challenges, including the fact that there were attempts towards unity in the past, and those attempts didn't work out. And we highlight the problem. And the problem is simple, if I can repeat it. If we go ahead in a fragmented way, we are going to replay 2023, which is part of the highlight you presented. And that we had to now raise it with our leaders. And after that open letter, we followed through and met them individually and collectively about across 6 political parties. And in all the cases, the main point we presented, and they all agree with us, that, look, Nigeria deserves better. And in terms of what the opposition leadership need to do is to work toward producing a credible alternative that will earn the confidence of Nigerians. At the moment, we fear that if we continue in a fragmented way, we will just hand over victory to the ruling APC and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And we don't think that is what the opposition is aiming at. Of course, like everybody knows, and we have said it over and over again, that it's a difficult process, and that we emphasize to them, yes, the ultimate is that we need them to produce a single presidential candidate. But that cannot be the first issue on the table. The first issue on the table is for them to agree to work together and set up structures that they will all engage on the basis of which they will negotiate the process. It's not a question of declaration, and it's not a question of forcing one individual or the other to step down for the other. But it's a question of building relationship, and the quality of relationship will determine how much sacrifice they can make for each other or how much trust they can invest in one another. And they all agree, and that is what we are working on. And the first stage is the summit, which we proposed the summit for 18th August, and they told us that 18th August they were signing the peace accord
Indeed.
with the National Peace Committee. And on the basis of that, we shifted the summit to 31st August. And we presented to them proposal, and we are using this week to engage them again to get their agreement in terms of what the agenda of the summit will be. We are not dictating to them, and I think it is important to emphasize to Nigerians that whatever come out of August 31st summit will be a voluntary and collective decision of leaders of the opposition. And
Indeed.
they will put in place structures that will facilitate the process of negotiation to enable them by the period of the election to contest the election as a united front.
Yeah, I hear you, Comrade Salihu Lukman, now. But my question is, when you say opposition, a lot of these political parties are divided in factions. I don't know which opposition parties you're talking to and which factions you're talking to. Some of them still have cases in court. And don't you think that would also, jeopardize your own agenda of fielding or getting a single presidential candidate when some of these political parties even have two presidential candidates?
Well, it's up to you what you are looking at in terms of, but we are very clear. We know who we are talking to, and we have explained it's in the public domain. We are talking to 6 political parties. We are talking to ADC, we are talking to NDC, we are talking to PRP, we are talking to SDP, we are talking to PDP under the leadership of Tanimu Turaki, and we are talking to the last party is, did I mention SDP?
Maybe APM?
APM. We are talking to APM. These are the 6 parties we are talking to. Now, you talk of legal challenges, and these are some of the proposals we have put before them. They have to have a common front of engaging because we know the source of all these legal challenges. They should be able to prosecute it as a united group, and they should have common strategies. And these are all before them they are considering, and by the time we meet at the summit, they will take the final decision, and they will explain to you how they intend to engage all these issues. Legal issues is not going to undermine the process of presenting candidates.
Yeah.
It's a legitimate right of Nigerians, and we will deal with all of that.
Well, it's interesting to hear that you're also talking to the ADC, and it was reported, I think about 3 weeks ago, that you suspended your membership of this same political party, bringing them again to the table. Do you think you still have that influence?
It's not a question of influence. Whatever is happening in terms of our internal issues in ADC, we are dealing with that. It's not for the public. Those who made it public knew what they made it, why they made it public. But we are proceeding. I mean, the most important thing you have to understand is that our commitment to give Nigerians something better than what they have today cannot be questioned, cannot be in doubt. If we have internal contestation in ADC or in any other party, is part of politics.
Indeed. When you say something better, we're hearing, comments from all the political parties. I know you're yet to hold that particular meeting, which is scheduled for the 31st of August. But particularly a statement credited to Atiku Abubakar, who is also considered as a leader of the opposition, saying that fuel subsidy payment will be returned if he is elected as president. I know this has stirred up so much controversy. Some people even seeing it as the position of the opposition party. Don't you think statements like this begins to discredit the opposition ahead of, your planned summit?
It all depends on where you are looking at it from. If you are looking at it from with the lens of APC and President Asuwaju, you think it will.
I am looking at it from the lens of a Nigerian now who has been told that a lot of money has been saved from subsidy.
If you are patient,
Okay, go ahead.
I will tell you what the lens.
Go ahead, I'm listening.
Patient, I will tell you what the lens of Nigerians look like.
Go ahead.
The lens of Nigerians so far is that we have a declaration of ending subsidy without any programmatic approach in terms of how you deal with the consequence of that. And on the basis of which it has created a lot of disconnect, a lot of hardship in the land, and all that. I mean, when His Excellency Atiku Abubakar made the point, For many of us, we see it as a welcome development because there are proposals being put on the table. You talk of subsidy issue, which His Excellency Atiku Abubakar has. You didn't talk of Peter Obi's submission about moving the country from consumption to production. All these are proposals, and for us, we are engaging our leaders. Hello?
Yeah, here, go ahead. I'm listening.
We are engaging our leaders to be able to engage all these issues and come up with a common agreement so that on program issues in terms of responding to all the challenges facing the country, they will have common position. And it's not a question of just declaration. These are issues that they will have a process that they will negotiate it themselves so that whoever among them become the president on May 29, 2027, will have ready-made program that will be implemented to respond to all the challenges facing the country.
You know, people are beginning to question, Nigerians are also scrutinizing, questioning some of these issues raised. That's why I brought up the subsidy matter. And you said it depends on the lens with which I view the situation. And, you know, people are beginning to question the sincerity of all of this. Is it about winning votes? Again, another argument is, shouldn't it be about, okay, the management of the subsidy, the money saved from subsidy, the subsidy removal process, rather than returning to that era? Don't you think it would negatively impact on the economy that your party, your coalition say you plan to save?
You see, when you talk of people are questioning, you also should be able to be honest enough to admit there are many people who have welcomed that position of His Excellency Atiku Abubakar. Just as there are many people who have also expressed commendation on the declaration of Peter Obi. And I mean, look. Whether Nigerians are happy with what is happening today or not is a lived reality that we cannot shy away from. And if there is anything that throw up an alternative to what Nigerians are going through, I think it needs to be engaged and it needs to be negotiated in the context of what we are putting together. And by the time an agreement is reached, that becomes the commitment of leaders of the opposition in terms of what they will do after they win the election and become the leaders of government on May 29, 2027.
Yeah, and I know you say you're not trying to force anybody to step down for the order, but again, if you look at these politicians, these are big politicians with big egos, and how do you intend to manage these? Because the agenda for your coalition is to ensure that the opposition unites behind a single presidential candidate. How is this achievable when all of them have even already started their campaigns?
Of course, they have started their campaign, no doubt about it, but I've just explained to you. The first thing is to have a structure that they will all come together. Part of what is going on now is that many people want them to continue to contest against each other and have give a breathing space to the ruling party so that the the contest between His Excellency Atiku and the Peter Obi with the obedience will be more antagonistic than the contest between the opposition and the ruling APC. All this, we are going to minimize them, and as far as we can see, which is why we said we have received encouraging response from our leaders, those that we have engaged, and they have expressed commitment to work with one another. And in the process of working with one another, which is the point I made to you, once we set up that structure, they will be able to develop the confidence. I mean, it's a process of confidence building now. On the basis of which the quality of relationship they are able to contract will enable them to agree to make sacrifices on the overall interests of the nation. And look, one of the points we made to them, and they all agreed to that, only one person can be president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And the fundamental issue is that, which we ask them, do they just want to be on the ballot or they want to win election? If they want to win the election, they need to really do something that is very critical, that will enable them to mobilize to earn the public support that will give them the votes. And this is all that we are trying to facilitate now, to get them to start that process. Yes, people, and part of what I have seen, some of the media commentary is almost pushing them to say, okay, no, go about it alone, contest alone. We don't want them to contest alone. We want them to contest as a united front because we want them to win the election. We want them to give Nigerians something much better than what we have today.
And you're the one leading the G100. You've met with the minority caucus in the House of Representatives. If, I'm not trying to preempt now, if you don't succeed, because this is not the first time we're seeing this kind of push. There was that meeting in Ibadan that didn't yield any result. If you don't succeed, are you going to just walk away and say, yes, you've done your best, you tried? Because it's not the first time we're seeing, you engage in several political ventures like this.
I can also tell you we are veterans in this game. If I can remind you, in 2012 and 2013, when we started the advocacy for merger of opposition parties, most of the cynical commentary in the media is that we are not going to succeed. People, the same question that are being asked today, who will be the presidential candidate? People keep making the point that the merger will not work, but we proceeded. And at the end, the merger is now history, and APC won the election.
But 2014, it's different from 2026. Now primaries have been conducted, candidates selected.
I'm just responding to the cynical comment that if we don't succeed, I am telling you that if, with commitment and with what we have seen, the encouraging signals from leaders, success is a high probability, and we are going to do everything possible to succeed.
Okay, Comrade Lukman, there is another narrative, that believes that one of the candidates, some people have even said perhaps Atiku Abubakar, is the one behind the G100 that is also seeking to bring other opposition candidates on the same page and support a single candidate which would be his own. How do you respond to that?
Well, you see, just in another media yesterday, I made the point, it's so interesting. In fact, I'm just having the fun of my life, because for some people, I'm doing the bidding of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, and we are working to get him to be the candidate. And for another set of people around, interestingly around the same His Excellency Atiku Abubakar, they see me as doing the bidding of some smaller party and His Excellency Peter Obi. Some have even insinuated that I've been hired by His Excellency former President of the Federal Republic of Obasanjo to do all of these things. So look, I can tell you this, as far as we are concerned, our conviction is what is driving us. And in the G100, go and look at it very carefully. For those who wish to dismiss members of the G, they should go and check. There is a large proportion of members, certainly more than 30 of in that 100 group, and members of NDC. More than 30. And we cut across the different political parties. So, look, and we are all united by the...
All right, I hear you, Comrade Salihu Lukman. I'm afraid that's all we can take. We need to go now, but you can see this episode again at 11 p.m. on TVC, and you can watch on TV.